Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. We have our preview here of Week 20. A little bit on crunch time, but thankfully we're not behind. Rick, what are you doing? You're like looking at the camera like...
Well, no, because I have my laptop in front of me and then I have my camera up here.
Oh, I see. So you just...
Because normally I'm standing.
Yeah, no, that's true. I forgot about that. Anyways, though, we have only 3 games this week. God damn it, Rick. We only got 3 games this week. Got 1 game today on the Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, so late game. But that's because the game is out west. And then we got 2 games tomorrow. We got Toronto and Saskatchewan, again, and then the Elks in Winnipeg. But our first game of the week that we're covering here today is the Calgary Stampeders versus the BC Lions. And so this is every game. Both games left in the season are a must-win for Calgary, as they need to at least get 1 win out of the 2 if Saskatchewan doesn't beat Toronto, which I don't think Saskatchewan is beating Toronto. So
tonight's going to be the most important game of the week.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because the Toronto-Saskatchewan is probably assumed to be somewhat of a foregone conclusion of how that game is going to go, unless Saskatchewan decides to pull something out of their ass and start playing football, but they haven't done that in the past 6 weeks, so who knows. But when it comes to Calgary and BC, Calgary obviously sneaking last week, having a good performance, getting past the Rough Riders. With a win, 26-19. Dickinson doing the best coaching of his life in that game. Oh my goodness. Strategically calling. There was one where he had a timeout that he had to call because otherwise he would have lost it anyway. Where he called it, but then it allowed him to not have to spend another timeout using a challenge. And so because of the timeout that he called, the play was reviewed normally, in which it went his way and he didn't have to blow an extra timeout that he normally would have. So very smart play by Dickinson. And I shit on Dickinson all the time. That was a smart play, though. However, playing against the BC Lions in BC, what's at stake for them in this game? Not much, just kind of, could they theoretically gain the West? Yeah, but Bombers would have to really screw the pooch in order for that to happen. But it's one of those things where Calgary, this is a must-win game for Calgary. Probably the more... It's kind of difficult to say if it's the more winnable out of the 2 games. Because the thing is that if BC wins this, and if Winnipeg beats Edmonton, then Winnipeg clinches anyway, first in the West, and then who knows what their lineup even looks like the following week against Calgary. So if you're Calgary, ideally you want to get this done in Week 20, so that way you don't have to deal with all the pressure of 1 game left in the season.
Wouldn't it suck if it came down to the last play against you guys next week? down to 30 seconds left in the game, and then it's like... And
you know what the funny thing is? I wouldn't even mind if we lost that, because then that would mean that we'd still have the West, and Saskatchewan would drop out of the playoffs. That's one where I don't know what I want more, because if we've already clinched the West, then who gives a shit? But... this is going to be a very, very important game. I think we're going to see the best Calgary Stampeders game of the season. And a little bit of a controversial pick here. I have the Calgary Stampeders defeating the BC Lions and clinching a playoff spot this week.
So this week, Carey's starting for running back.
Yep.
They have Jake Mayer. Bangleton's back in the lineup, so they have him, Dukes, and Michelle. For receivers.
Yep.
As far as BC goes, they
got some dogs.
Yes.
It's all good.
Someone's walking by. Hardy's starting at running back again.
Keep going, you're good.
And then all of the receivers are playing this week for BC, so there's no one missing there.
Difficult matchup there, and that's the thing. BC still has that chance to clinch technically. So, they're gonna keep They're going to keep pushing in that regard. It's one of those things where the reason I'm taking Calgary to win is simply just because I'd like to see them win this game and ideally clinch up that spot and knock Saskatchewan out. But it's one of those things where realistically, it's the Lions are looking more likely. But I'm picking the Stamps regardless. So that's all I kind of got for that one. Is there anything else we have about this game before we move on?
Yeah, my pick.
Who's your pick? Where's the hat? Where's the hat? Where's the hat?
Oh, the hats are over there.
The hats are over there.
I want to say Calgary, but for some reason, BC's going to come smoke them out of.
That's fair. And it's a game in BC. And, obviously BC has, they haven't always won in their own building. I'm sorry. I have to laugh about that victory that we got over them. However, it's one of those things where it's looking like it's going to be a good one for the Lions. But our next game of the week, we have the Toronto Argonauts versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This game is going to be in Saskatchewan. So how are we feeling about this one?
So Lather is starting kicker.
Oh, Lawther's back?
Lawther's back?
Yeah.
As far as receivers, Breskison isn't playing.
I see.
But other than that, for Saskatchewan side, Toronto side, Kelly's starting. Olette's playing.
Yep.
Brissett and Unger, Daniels, and Coxey. So, everyone's starting for Toronto this week.
I see.
So I already know who I'm going with.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Even with a reduced lineup, I don't see Saskatchewan winning this. I see this being the nail in the coffin in terms of sealing the fate of Craig Dickinson's job as well as the general manager there in Saskatchewan, as I think we're going to be seeing a clean house in Saskatchewan when it comes to management going into this next season. But I think this game will be the nail in the coffin. I have the Toronto Argonauts defeating the Saskatchewan Roughriders to then go 15-2 on the season. But we got one more game this week. A bit of a short preview because we only have only 3 games this week, not 4. And our last game is going to be the Edmonton Elks against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at IG Field in Winnipeg. I will be at this game. I'm excited for this game. How are you feeling about this game, Rick?
Had we have seen Ford start like week 4, week 5, we wouldn't even be having this discussion about Calgary or Saskatchewan this week.
Nope, that's true.
Because we all know Edmonton would be in the playoffs. As far as your team goes, I'm just looking at.
I think you had told me that Dalton Schoen is not looking to be in this game.
Yeah, so they have Lawler and Grant on the left side wide receiver, Bailey on the slot back, and then on the right side they have Dembski, Wolodarski, McRae, and Leary Orange starting on the right side wide receiver.
I see.
So now the quick question is, who is going to be the key receiver for this game? Dembski or Lawler? Because once you pick one of them, it's not going to be one of them. It's going to be someone else.
Yeah, we're gonna pick Dembski, and it's gonna be like O'Leary Orange is gonna have like the game of his career. Wolodarski's always nice whenever we throw to him. It's one of those things where I actually think that Wolodarski's going to have a really, really good game here. He's just kind of one of the more consistent, reliable receivers. It's not a guy who's going to be racking up a crap ton of yards. It's not a guy they throw to a ton. But whenever they do throw to him, he gets the job done. So it's one of those things where I think Wolodarski's going to have a good game. I think Dembski's going to continue his very strong performance for the season. I think Oliveira is going to put the 17th lock on that Canadian MOP, being the most valuable Canadian. or MOC, I guess, most outstanding Canadian, as Brady Oliveira is the best running back in the Canadian Football League this year. He has just been outstanding. And I got to say, it is a little bit funny, and I'm going to get in a bit of shit for this. However, the CFL was putting out who is the best running back. Is it Brady Oliveira or is it AJ Ouellette? Might I remind people, AJ Ouellette is not in the top 3 for running backs in rushing yards this season. And Brady Oliveira, how many yards does he have lead over number 2? 300 yard difference. I'm not saying
310 to be exact.
310 yards. I'm not saying that AJ Ouellette is not an outstanding running back. He is. I do believe he is a top 3 running back. I really think he is. This is Ouellette's year. This is Ouellette's year. Or not Ouellette's year. Oliveira's year.
And
Argonaut word out of my mouth.
Do you know who's
Oliveira's
in second
year.
place?
My apologies. What?
Do you know who's in second place?
Do I know who's in second place? For
without
yards?
looking it up.
Is it Brown?
No, it's not.
Oh, it was either Brown or how am I forgetting his name?
Number 9, James Butler.
James Butler, that's who it was. Because I knew it was either Butler or Brown. I don't know why I was blanking on James Butler.
So
thought it was
Oliveira has 3 more carries, 1 less game.
Yep.
He has 1.3 yards average more. Butler has the longest yard or longest carry.
Yep.
They have the same amount of touchdowns. And Oliveira has 6 plus or 20 plus. I guess that's rushes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he has. And this is one of those things where I expect that Edmonton, again, they're going to play hard, but it's one of those things where they don't currently have the talent on the roster needed to win this game against Winnipeg. Winnipeg, obviously, playing at home, going to be a sold-out crowd, which Winnipeg Jets, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are able to sell out 30,000 on a consistent basis, and the Jets right now are getting some of the worst attendance they've had since returning to Winnipeg in 2011. I know it's a little bit of a hockey rant. However, it goes to show the Bombers' connection with the community when they're outselling the Jets. And obviously they're going to get more seats filled. I'm not talking in that. I mean, the percentage of the capacity that they are selling is better. And it's one of those things where Winnipeg Jet, and I don't think this is just fans not being interested. That's not what it is. When groceries is over like $200 and it's just crazy expensive, people can't afford to go to a hockey game. Prices are not cheap. I mean, they're about half the price. The tickets in Ottawa for the Sens games there, about half the price. Also, executive seating makes up like 85% of a lot of other arenas' sales. You look at Toronto, you look at New York, that's what it is. You know what it is in Winnipeg? 15%. That's all it is, because big business in Winnipeg is non-existent. But it's okay. Just a little bit of a rant there, because the Bombers have been doing such an excellent job with attendance. Seriously.
So here's a quick stat line for you.
Yep.
So Dalton Schoen is 3rd in receiving. He won't be able to get any more yards or any more touchdowns because he's not playing this week.
Yep.
Unless he plays next week. Hatcher, last game of the season, he has 1,226 yards. He's in 2nd place. And Hollins has 1,157 yards. And he's in 4th. The question is, do they pass Tim White, who has 1,269 yards with 1 game left?
So how many yards behind are they? Sorry?
So Hatcher is 43 yards behind him, but this is BC's last game this week. We have 1 more game against Montreal next week. And Hollins is 112 yards behind.
I don't think either.
Maybe Hatcher.
I don't think either do, considering that Tim White still has a game in hand. Like, they still have the game left. In the sense of, if they had to get 43 yards in 1 game, I'd say, yeah, they can do that. But that's not keeping in mind that Tim White is going to get more yards in that last game he plays. So I'm going to say no.
True.
Overall, though, I'm going to be taking the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the Edmonton Elks, just to kind of finish up that point. Yourself?
I mean, would that not be something if somehow Edmonton screwed you guys over?
Rick, just shut up. Just shut up. I don't want this. I don't want this.
This is the CFL. Anything can happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. We can lose to the Red Blacks. No, that's true.
You guys can lose to. You guys can lose to. I mean, you said it before me. You guys can lose to the Red Blacks, and Toronto can lose to Calgary.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It is the CFL. Anything can happen, but I'm still putting my money on my Bombers. That's what I'm doing. Who are you putting your money on? Rick is trying to decide whether he wants to do the realistic pick or the piss-off Carter pick.
No, because if Collaros plays a shit game, which we both know he can.
Yep.
And cough up turnovers.
Again, this is why Brady Oliveira should be in the MOP conversation over Collaros. No, I truly believe that. I truly believe that this is Oliveira's year over Collaros.
Oh, and by the way,
yes,
yours truly will be in Niagara Falls in November for the awards ceremony.
Oh yes, I need to decide. There's in Winnipeg. We're inducting Justin Medlock into the Hall of Fame. He's going to be at the Bomber store in about 3 hours, and I need to decide if I'm going to go to that or not. I'm not sure.
But I know Winnipeg's going to win. However, just to piss off you, I'm going to go Edmonton. Just to piss you off.
I'd like to thank everyone for watching today's video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe before I lose my mind on Rick. It's okay, though, because he said that Winnipeg's going to do it, and that he was only doing it to piss him off. I will not give him that satisfaction. I will not. I'm just kidding. Anyways, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you guys join the Prairie Puck Podcast Discord down in the description below. We are active in there. It's a great time. Hockey, football, everything you can think of. Conversations happening down there. Make sure you guys join up and let us know of your picks down below in the comment section. And we will see you guys next time.